Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of At the Buzzer Sports, where we talk all things basketball all the time. And today we got a little bit more of college basketball heading your way. We're going to be talking about the 2025 NBA draft class risers and fallers. Some guys who are very high in the draft class and as a prospect coming into the draft process that may have fallen off a cliff or just fallen off just a little bit. And some guys who are maybe towards the bottom, rising up a lot. I know just for me, before I look at this, I know Nolan Traylor was in my top 10. He's just making it into my top 20 right now. And I think I'm being a little bit optimistic for him. And Jeremiah Fears is somebody who wasn't even on my radar coming in. And now he has risen into my top 15 conversations. Derek Queen is another guy who I was projecting later in the first round. It might be somebody who's later in the lottery. Another guy, Roco Zakari. I did not have him on my radar coming into this 2025 draft process, and he has risen really high for me. Like, for me, Roco Zakari is somebody that can be taken right outside the lottery. I'm extremely high on him. Thomas Sorber. I'm not gonna give away the whole list, but I haven't taken a look at it at the list yet. I just wanted to let you guys know who are some of these guys that may find on the list but would be on my list before coming in. And this is a article I found on Bleacher Report. I'm trying to really find a way to schedule my videos as much as I possibly can to where I may react to some articles on Mondays. I know I'm going to be doing reaction videos every Sunday. That's something that's going to be new to try and add some type of content for Sundays, but it'll be something I record throughout the entire week and maybe drop 4 or 5 of them on Sunday. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. We're here, man. Bleacher Report 2025 NBA Draft, biggest risers and fallers from the BR mock drafts so far. This is written by Jonathan Wasserman on January 19th, 2025. It's actually January 19th, 2025, so that's great. We're kind of ahead of the curve, you know what I'm saying? It takes me a couple of days to actually record these article things, so who knows, man? We should be doing this a lot more. Let's get right into it, man. First one, Jeremiah Fears. Jeremiah Fears has been really good this season. If we take a look, hopefully these stats are on point, but 16.6 points per game, 4 assists, and about 46% from the field on 17 3-pointers made and 2 steals a night. Mock draft position on October 28th, he was off the board, and on January 13th, he is ranked at number 6. I'm not going to lie. I really like Jeremiah Fears' game. I think he's a great shooter. I think he's a great ball handler. I definitely think he does have a really good first step. He stands at about 6'4". A few things that I do want to say about his game. I think number 6 is a little high. I just don't know how much he would be able to create rim pressure as a lead guard or maybe even a shooting guard coming in. Right now, I don't think he is the best decision maker, so he probably would play 2 guard, and I think he would be hunted defensively a lot in the NBA. Just because he does have a bit of a slighter frame, and I don't necessarily know if his first step is enough for me to just say, okay, the first step is good enough so he can just get to the rim effortlessly. I do think there is a little bit of problem with the weight for him to be able to power through guys beating him to his spot and being able to power through and get a good look at the rim. But as a mid-range shooter and as a 3-point shooter, I do think he is very solid. I think he could become a very good spot-up shooter and a very good off-ball player. I just think 6th is a little rich for me. I do think he's going to be a good player, and in the right situation, I definitely think he'll be able to thrive. And I think he could take some lead guard responsibilities, maybe as a secondary type of guy. But as of right now, I would probably have him between 8 and 12. I think in my latest mock draft, I had him going number 8. So depending on the right situation, I would like to see him fully thrive. And as the first faller is Nolan Traylor. Yeah, it's been really bad for Nolan Traylor. He hasn't looked good defensively. His jump shot has not fallen. But once again, there is still some signs there. There still is some signs there. I do really like his change of speed. His change of speed in the half court is very intriguing. I've seen, out of the last possessions I've seen from him, him splitting blitzes in the pick and roll have been really intriguing. Him playing in the pick and roll has been really intriguing. His finishing around the rim is very questionable, but the ability of getting 2 feet in the paint has never been a problem with Nolan Traylor. So I believe that this could be something that you can grow off of. I think the jump shot can be taught. I think the defense can be taught because he is fairly athletic and he is fairly quick. So I think he'll be able to be a neutral defensively, especially if he's going to be somebody's lead guard. And if I'm a team and I'm just looking for somebody, if I'm just looking for some talent, whether it's the Wizards, the Brooklyn Nets, the Utah Jazz, if I have a pick around 17 to 22, and Nolan Traylor is still on the board, I'm gonna take him because I still feel like there is something that can be taught here. And I don't know if it's because I value like getting 2 feet in the paint and just being able to create off the defense collapsing. I think Nolan Traylor can get a lot better at the decision making and at the jump shot and at the defense. Obviously, you're not going to get all of that, but if you can get a guy who can constantly create rim pressure, finish around the rim pretty well, which he does not do right now, and just create for his offense, I think you can have a really good starting point guard. So, yes, it has not looked great, but once again, the intangibles is something I'm still very high on. For example, I don't think Ace Bailey is going to be on here, but a lot of people are still I wouldn't say overreacting to Ace Bailey's shot creation and his handle, but you can't teach 6'9", 200 plus pounds and extremely athletic. You can't teach that. So to the point where you can teach that ball handling. You can't teach that tough shot making that Ace Bailey has. You cannot teach that length that Ace Bailey has. You cannot teach that athleticism that he has. So once again, I'm just really big on intangibles in this draft, and I think Nolan Traylor shows a really good sign of being able to get 2 feet in the paint. And once he establishes that in the NBA, then we can start building on everything else. We can start building on the decision making. We can start building on the finishing around the rim. We can start building on the jump shot. We can start building on the defense. Once again, you may not be able to get all of that in one player. You're probably going to have to take a step back on the defense, or maybe the jump shooting never comes around. But once again, I'm extremely high on getting 2 feet in the paint. And he does that pretty well, and he operates in the pick and roll pretty well as well. So far this season, he's averaging about 11 points per game, 5 assists, 35% from the field, and 25% from 3. So he has not been efficient. Once again, his mock draft position was number 5. I actually thought he was better than Dylan Harper coming into the draft. So I'm actually probably not going to say that ever again. So if you guys are watching this video, coming into the draft process, this was right after the 2024 draft. I instantly went into the 2025 draft, and I thought Nolan Traylor was going to be better than Dylan Harper. So you're never going to hear that from me again. Next is Asena Noel. Yes, he has risen for me. I thought Asena Noel was going to be a fringe first round guy, and he has shown a lot more. He has a willingness to shoot the 3 ball. I think he may be a power forward coming in. I don't really think he has the size to be a center right now, and I know we've seen a lot of slimmer centers come into the league like Evan Mobley, Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama. There had Alex Sarr. There's been a lot of guys who have come into the league as centers and have been as slim as Asena Noel. I just don't think Asena Noel has the defensive upside like those 4 guys have. That's not me saying that he's going to be bad defensively, but I just don't think he is that game changer of a defender at the five for him to come in and be a 5 officially for the NBA. He does have some really good shot blocking abilities, but sometimes I think his timing could be off, and that could lead to a lot of fouls. Sometimes I think he is a little bit over aggressive when he is blocking shots. Now that is something that you do see from a lot of young bigs, but I do think he needs to establish what he is great at, because right now he's solid at a lot of things, and that is very intriguing for somebody who's, I think, 6'10 or 6'11, who can run the floor extremely well, be a lob threat, be somebody who can be a run, jump, and dunk type of big. And hopefully he'll be able to make some decisions out of the short roll, because he is going to be a pick and roll candidate a lot, or a roll man a lot in the NBA. I would love to see him with a lead guard that can really create good looks for him, because this can be somebody that can stop on a dime in mid-range and hit a mid-range shot. If the three-point shot does come along, maybe he can be a pick and pop candidate as well. This is just a guy to where you can take one of these avenues that he has and you can completely go with it. If you want to really teach him, or if you want to really develop him as a versatile switchblade type of defender, somebody who can block shots and play guys on the perimeter with his athleticism, go that route. If you want somebody who can score and give you about 19 points per game on any given team with the pull-up jump shooting and the mid-range shooting and the lob threat and the transition ability, then you go with that. I definitely think this is somebody you can mold into the player that you want, because he does a lot of things at an above average level. So I really like Asena Noel. By the way, you guys probably hear my voice going to shit. Here we have another riser in Derek Queen. Now, once again, Derek Queen was one of my guys, man. He was one of my guys. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I said this on camera, but before Derek Queen started getting a lot of hype, I was high on Derek Queen. And I think Derek Queen is a guy that I think there is still some concerns I have with Derek Queen. Now, I do think he could be a very good finisher around the rim. He has shown potential to be a very good finisher that finishes around contact with his weight and his size and his not ball control, but his body control, just being able to absorb that contact and still finish around the rim. So that is intriguing. There are a few things that I do not love, though. He does play on the perimeter a lot. He does put the ball on the floor a lot. I don't necessarily think that's what they're going to ask him to do at the NBA level. I'm sure he's probably going to be like an offensive rebound guy, somebody who can get dump offs in the paint. And once again, I don't think he's a good defender. I don't think he's a good defender at all. He does miss a lot of possessions defensively. He does fall asleep defensively to where you would expect him to be the helper when somebody's driving to the rim and he just completely misses it and gives up an easy look to the rim. I've seen that a lot from him. I don't necessarily think he's the most athletic to be a great rim protector. I don't necessarily think he is tall enough. I mean, he is 6'10", so that's something that can help him as a rebounder. But coming in, I don't think he's going to be an effective rebounder right away. I still think those are some things that I would just shy away from. And him putting the ball on the floor the way that he does, and he has shown a lot of playmaking upside, I don't want him to fall into that category of bigs that you need to build your team around for them to be effective. And I'm talking about the Domantas Sabonis's, the Alperen Senguns, the type of guys who kind of need the team tailored around what they can do so they can be effective. I think Derek Queen still has a lot to be desired defensively, and with the way he plays in college, I think that would have to be massively changed to go into the NBA, and that may be why he has a struggling rookie year. Like, I don't want to project that onto a young player, but looking at his game, I don't necessarily know if that's something that can just go straight into the NBA and you could drop in any situation and he can thrive his first year. I don't know. This is definitely going to be a work in progress, and I definitely would look at him with a lottery pick or a later lottery pick. I would say between 12 and 17 is something I would look for Derek Queen in. I wouldn't draft him top 10, though. I definitely think there are a lot of guys that would go above him. I definitely could think of 10 players that I could understand going above Derek Queen, but he's still a phenomenal player. And I think if he just shies away from really trying to play on the perimeter as much in the NBA, he could be really solid because he has a lot of really good intangibles. Jalil Bea, man. Oh, my God. I was so high on Jalil Bea. Wow. This is bad. This is bad, man. This is bad. And it's so crazy because I think I've watched one game of Jalil. I've watched one game. And I was just like, yeah, bro. I was high on Jalil, man. I was high on Jalil. He was one of my guys. And you guys want to know why I was high on Jalil? I drafted him in 2K, and he was a spot-up sniper. He was a sniper standing at 6'3". He was a sniper. He was a sniper, whether it was off ball. I thought this was Tyrese Maxey, man. I thought it was Tyrese. Man. It sucks to see. He's probably going to do one more year in Miami. I think he's going to do one more year in Miami. It only makes sense. Cam Jones. Yeah. This is a senior. You don't see a lot of seniors. Getting mocked in like top 17. Well, you might, because Dawn Connect went at 17, and I think he was a senior. I also think Buddy Hield was 24 and he went top 10. But you don't see a lot of seniors be this high in the draft. And so far, he's averaging about 20 points per game, 6 assists, 50% from the field. I mean, this is somebody who's going to be seasoned coming into the NBA, somebody who can probably handle pressure better than a lot of these young guards in the draft, somebody who's going to make constant good decisions and can shoot the ball pretty well. He's just a mature guy. And there's somebody you're going to want to have on your team, especially one of these teams that's going to be coming into the season next year trying to win. And would love to have another ball handler. I would love to see him in LA for the Clippers. I think the Clippers have a swap pick with the Thunder. Haven't really watched a lot of Sergio De La Rey. I've heard of him, but I haven't really watched much of him. So I'm not going to really speak on his game yet. I'm going to get a little bit more film on him, and then maybe we'll come back and talk about him. Oh, my God. I don't know why people are down on Roco, man. I don't know why people are down on Roco. I don't know why people are down on him. Roco, I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you this right now. Look at me in my eyes. Hold on. Let's fix this, chat. I don't have no chat. This is not a live thing. But look at me. I want y'all to look at me. Look at me real fast when I tell you this. Roco Zakari is going to be Jared Allen. He's going to be Jared Allen. I don't care. Roco Zakari is going to be Jared Allen. The reason he's fallen is because he's 18, playing in a grown man league. Like, we just talked about how Sergio De La Rey is rising. He's averaging 6 points. So people are going to be like, oh, he's only averaging 5 rebounds or 5 points and 3.5 rebounds, and he's gonna fall. Like, no, I think Roco Zakari, for a team that's looking for some rim protection and just some size, I think Roco Zakari is going to be somebody that a team falls in love with. I love his athleticism, especially standing at 7'2". The way he flips his hips in transition on the perimeter, he shows the potential to be able to guard wings and move well on his feet. I'm telling you right now, this is Jared Allen. This is Jared Allen. And once again, I'm not one of those guys who just makes those lazy picks that compares a white guy to a white guy and a black guy to a black guy. I'm not one of those guys. I think this is Jared Allen. And you could clip this as much as you want. I'm standing tall on this. I would take Roco Zakari with like my 20th pick and not feel bad about it. There are still a lot more centers that I would take right now before him. Right now, I would take Thomas Sorber over Roco. I would take Kaman Malak over Roco. I would take Asena Noel over Roco. But Roco's going to be one of those guys where you're probably going to have to send him down to the G League for his first season or two. But he's going to develop. The way he is able to recover defensively, the way he moves his feet in space, the way he's able to flip his hips in space, all of that is extremely valued for me. Extremely valued. So once again, I really like Roco. Up next, Miles Byrd out of San Diego State. I've seen some a little bit of film of him. He's extremely athletic, somebody that could put the ball on the floor. He's definitely risen because he wasn't on my board at all coming in. And now I think he's probably late first round, early second. So that's really good for Miles Byrd. Somebody that could be a slasher or ball handler. Not the greatest 3-point shooter. I think he shoots about 4 or 5 a game. I don't necessarily know, but I think that can grow. Thomas Sorber, and this is somebody that I was considering making a film breakdown video of, but once again, it's so hard to get possessions of college basketball, or it's really hard to like chop them up and really put them in a film breakdown type of video. But Thomas Sorber has shown a lot of intangibles. One, I think he's a great drop defender. I think he's a really good drop coverage defender, and he is a little slow on his feet, so he's probably going to be a primary drop coverage defender. You know, I also do think he finishes around the rim really well. I think he rebounds really well. He's going to be one of those bruising type of centers. But the thing that intrigued me the most when I watched his film, because one day I had nothing to do, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I'm still, I'm gonna touch up on some of these guys. That sounded crazy. That sounded ridiculous. But what I meant by that was I'm going to watch some more film a little deeper, and I dug deep into Thomas Sorber. That did not sound good once again. Anyway, let's try this again. I really dove deep. I'm going to say this. I really keyed in on Thomas Sorber's game. And the thing that really stood out to me the most was his drop defense. His drop defense is really good. For his age, at the level he's playing, I think he's a really good drop defender. I think when he contests shots, he puts his hands straight up. He looks like a guy that's going to really protect the rim at a high level without fouling. Sometimes he's so conservative as a paint protector that sometimes you wish he would go for the block just a little bit more. So that's really impressive. I think he's a really good rebounder. I think he's a really good bruiser. I think he'll be able to finish around the rim through contact. I think he's just going to be one of the better drop defenders in the NBA. So that's really intriguing. I would love to see him go to Atlanta. That's where I have him mocked. And he's probably going to be the Donovan Clingan of my draft board. I had Donovan Clingan mocked to the Memphis Grizzlies until the day of the draft. Literally. And I'm going to probably have him mocked to Atlanta until the day of the draft. So up next, we have Kwame Evans. Haven't really seen much of Kwame Evans, not going to lie. So we'll get back to him. Danny Wolf. This is one of my favorite prospects, man. 7 foot, 12 and 10 and 4. Can put the ball on the floor like a wing. This is Lauri Markkanen. It's so funny because earlier in the video, I said I don't make the lazy comparisons of comparing a white guy to a white guy and a black guy to the black guy. I just did that. That was a comparison off the top of my head, but Danny Wolf is really good, man. As a shooter, as a ball handler, somebody that can rebound. Now, you do get a little concerned about the defense just with his athleticism, but he has shown signs of being a really good team defender, somebody that you can build a scheme for to where he can be a neutral or even a positive at times for the defense. So if you have a guy who, let's say the ball handling transfers and the three-point shooting transfers, and now he's able to see over the defense because he is 7 foot tall and he can play make. This is somebody that can be an all-star caliber type of player, and you may be able to get him at the end of the first round. If I'm Brooklyn and I have 5 first-round picks, and let's say pick 21 rolls around, hey, man, hey, I got a first. I got this 27th, and I could give you a second. Let me move up, and let me go get Danny Wolf. Because this is somebody I would take the risk for. Having him at number 34 is crazy. I got him at like 22. Maybe I should just do a big board. Hey, streets need it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate everybody that's been watching my videos and everybody that's been subscribing. By the way, do not mind what's on my head. I currently cannot find my do-rag, so this is the next best thing until I get a haircut. Once again, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We are going to be doing a lot more draft content as the draft starts heating up. There is a lot of players who have been really figuring it out and playing a lot better than I thought they would coming into the season. So we are going to be able to talk about it as much as we possibly can, on top of being able to drop some NBA videos. I have a lot of NBA videos and a lot of things I want to talk about, but some things I think can be saved for the offseason. I'm not going to lie, because this past offseason, after free agency, I got really I wouldn't say complacent. I don't think complacent is the word. I think I just was disorganized. And I think having a better game plan of what I should do over the offseason is probably going to be the move. Just stacking up a lot of things I could talk about over, because I think offseason is where you really start to you know what? I'm going to talk about why James Harden should have 4 MVPs. I'm going to talk about Draymond Green being a top 10 defender of all time and showing the film of that. I'm going to talk about, because the thing I was just about to mention, I'm probably going to be dropping within the next week. But anyway, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate everybody watching. Love y'all. Peace.